What I think markets are reacting to here is real testing of what I would call kind of the rule of law premium in American assets, dollar denominated assets. Things that you buy and sell in the US are worth a little bit more money because people are fairly sure that the government is not going to seize them, engage in highly reckless or erratic policymaking. The rule of law has knock-on effects in terms of economic stability that we all benefit from, and not just people inside the US, but people all over the world. It really is about this sort of like rule of law, stability, and the sort of orderly functioning of institutions in the US.
Is it fair to say then, like, the metrics you're following when you want to get a sense of how serious the market is taking any speculative news is not the Dow or the Nasdaq, but the value of the dollar and the bond market?
The bond market and the dollar are the two biggies. And the reason why is because the currency markets and the treasury markets are much bigger in value than the stock market. There's basically no way to goose the dollar or the bond market. The Wall Street Bets meme stock phenomenon, where people kind of gather around these meme stocks and just sort of post their way to gains. The meme stock effect never hit the treasury market is because it's like orders of magnitude larger. The amount of money is just too big. The players are by and large much more sophisticated, and they're really watching things very, very closely as professionals. And so, the bond market in particular, if you remember, moves in the bond market were the thing that really got the president to back down from the initial wave of retaliatory tariffs.
Let's end with this hypothetical. Trump next week decides, you know what? This building is in fact an exercise of corruption, and DOJ is looking into it. Jerome Powell cannot remain in his post while under investigation, and therefore I am firing him. What is your prediction for the reaction in the markets to that?
I think it would be the same reaction we saw today after this trio of stories, but larger. Stocks would fall, the dollar would weaken, long-term U.S. Treasury bonds yields would rise. It would be very bad. It would be very, very bad.
For how long?
I think for as long as until there was an emergency injunction put in by a U.S. federal court.